Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. It's underscore Gintu back again. Today my throat is not working much, but I'll try to make this video of today because it's a very special dedication to Ayamaro today, and it's one of the most favorite video ever I'm ever been doing as I started my YouTube channel, because we just remember where we came from, and also we should bear with the circumstances that has fallen apart and everything, but now it's straightforward and it's just ongoing very much. Let me start this way via going direct to the point of today. It's about the project that the fish pond that's to Ayamarua's compound. It's mostly that I was the engineer and I was the person who was dedicatively doing everything very much to make sure that the fish are benefiting, and also they are reared in an equivalent manner, that they're gonna be there for a while, and also they are going to be there as I'm going to take care of them and much more, because I knew how I constructed and which technique I used in terms of developing such kind of a fish pond, which is called a flying beam fish pond, and it's the uniquest. But for how everything is just running, we have much of the people who are misleading him and not giving him the real contentive and also observations and also determination about whatever he need about the fish and the ornamental mulch that are stocked there. Because people will be just talking about, are you talking about which kind of the fish or which kind of the things have you ever stocked onto that fish pond? There are three species of we talk about the tilapia, and also there is ornamentals, there is turtles, very small ones, they are very small, and also there are tortoise, and number 5 there are catfish inside there. There are like 2 catfish that I brought there so as they can control the reproduction rate, because of the small fish pond it is. Whenever they are going to multiply and multiply and multiply and become so many, it's gonna be having competition in terms of food and also the oxygen concentration into the water. So that's why I just stocked there some catfish that could benefit in another way, that it's gonna help him make sure that it's reducing the rate of the reproduction of the tilapia fish and ornamental, if in case the ornamental gonna be laying some eggs. So the point of today is coming direct this way. Last time you saw the fish were just dying, and it's not that there is something very different, or there's something that's maybe making it to die, and it's just one condition that I never told anyone there, because of I was just told to get out from the compound, minus even being informed that you have done this wrong, this and this and this. So the accusations that came that I stole, so they were the ones that are making us angry outside here, but we have refrained ourselves, and everything is running in a systematic way. So the point to drive home is just one. Guys, let me give you a small history about the tilapia fish, and also I'll give you the history about the catfish, and I'll give you a history about the ornamental fish. Let me start with the tilapia fish by today. The tilapia fish, they are called mouth breathers, and also they have a spawning time. Spawning time is whenever a male is now ready for talk about reproduction, or go and fertilize the female eggs and do what's called hatching and everything like that. So guys, I talked about I have some it's called some flu today, because of it's now raining and we had some allergic reactions, so that's why I'm speaking that way, and the voice, I think the voice is coming out as clear as possible. So the point was one, this kind of the tilapia fish, that's why that fish pond, we built a place called a flying beam fish pond, because it has a flying beam somewhere that brings water onto the fish pond, onto there. And also we have this kind of a topic that much of the people don't understand. That fish pond doesn't have water, and that is the real fact. much of the people knows that, oh, the fish pond is maybe drying, it's doing this, it is doing this. That fish pond doesn't have any water. That's the fact, guys, I'm giving you today. That fish pond doesn't have any water. So that water is coming from the outer source, coming onto the fish pond. And that's why we built there something called a flying beam onto that position, which is a wall that's attached onto the inner side of the fish pond, that downwards we just placed there some cement bags bulked with soil, and also we arranged some hardcore which are colorful from the mining site, so as it will filter water that's coming onto the fish pond. And even much of the people will just give you this. Whenever I was constructing that fish pond, much of the people were talking about, oh, this fish pond will not work. That water is coming from outside to come and accumulate into the fish pond. I don't think if this idea will work. Even a Maro engineer talked about now, and to this I'm a dwarf, I cannot even talk about the fish farming, what's just going to be undertaking here. And I was about, you just give me the masoneries who are just relevant and they can do job. So that's why I was there making sure that everything is going straightforward and to how I planned it to be. So even I can just say that Safi Mambo, I can just say that there's a time the person called Steve J1 came and told me, are you sure this fish pond will be having water? Are you sure? I talked about, you just sit, relax, wait for that moment, because I knew what I was doing. So whenever now we stocked everything, so water was being lured from the outside, which is the spring outside, which was to be it's called a turtle pond or a swimming pond outside of the main fish pond we're talking about. So that's where water is coming from and getting onto the real flying beam fish pond. So those kind of the cement bags and also the stones that we arranged at the pavement, which is the dike of the fish pond, it will constitute that it has some spaces. Those spaces will create what is called the barrows. Barrows, for the people who want to understand what's barrow, barrows are like spots. They talk about a spot where a fish goes and dig out and become like a spore, if you have ever heard about something like that. So it's called a barrow, a space created via a male, and so as it can lure a female go and reproduce at that position. And during that time, it's now called the spawning time of the brood stock. So the male develops different colors. Either you'll even see, I'm talking about the tilapia, much of them develop pale blue, some develop pale green, some develop reddish in color. Whenever you see those colors on top of the fish to the head, it means that that fish is under spawning time. So it's just looking for a female which is ready to, it's called mouth breed some eggs, and it had already created a barrow that I'm just talking about. So if that fish pond, it doesn't have a place where they can just go and dig, that's why we put there some cement bags, and also we arranged some stones in a manner that they are leaving some spaces inside that fish can just go and hide and lay their eggs for the security purposes. And that's why I was now going to this point, a one-on-one live, that you know, tilapia fish are more different between tilapia and also, let's talk about the ornamentals. But I'm coming to finish with the ornamentals. Let me go back to the tilapia. I've just finished about them and their laying, and also the spawning time and creating of barrows, and also making sure that they are reproducing and hatching much over the young ones. And guys, whenever now that barrow is created via the male and a female is lured onto that barrow, then it goes and settles there, then it mouth breathes some eggs, then the male one ejaculates the eggs and make sure that they are fertile, then the female incubate again onto the mouth. So the mouth of the tilapia fish has the relevant temperature for the hatching of the fish. So whenever it stays like 3 to 4 days, then it hatches the small fishes, or they're called fries. Whenever they have 0 or whenever they have 1 day until 30 days, they're called fries. Whenever they are 30 days until 60 days, they're called fingerlings. Whenever they are from 60 days to 100 days, it's called a post fingerling. Now from there, we shall have the big fish, which can be consumed outside here. So that was the point about the tilapia fish. And also, we have the pH relevant for the tilapia fish to be reared. We have from 7.1. From 7.1 until around 9.6. That is the pH level for the tilapia fish here in our area. Because area and latitude, and talk about the latitudes, and also talk about the area, which is the climate of that area, differentiate between how you'll just be rearing some fish. The conditions also, they're there. That's why I'm talking about we have the pH levels in a different places, different ages, different places. So that's what I mean. So let's talk about the catfish. I can just remember it was on Wednesday when Amaro had a birthday party. Same day, I had decided that the same day I'm gonna be stocking him with the fish from my fish pond. I went to my fish pond. I removed some fish via the use of mosquito net. 300 pieces of fish. But the first day before I could just do that, I brought 6. I hope there were 5 or 6. I brought 6 fish and I just dumped them there. And so as the following day, I could just come and observe. So the following day, whenever I came, I found that the fish are well. They are enjoying their life. They are doing this and this everywhere. I talked about now this water is more good for the stocking. And I calculated the fish pond, how it looks like. And it is 92 meters squared, that fish pond. So I went to my fish pond. Then I brought some of 300 fingerlings. During that time, they were post fingerlings, guys. And I came with them. And during that day, because there was a party was about to start. He told me that I want big fish. I don't want the smaller. I want something that people will come and see. So I was about, oh, I have some fish at my fish pond, so you can purchase them. He talked about, yes, go and bring them. I brought 300. And also he always talked about, how many are you going to bring? I told him that I'm going to bring 300. And he told me that, okay, why can't you add? I talked about, I'm considering the space. And the ones I'm bringing, they are going to multiply because they are male and female. They are of the talk about different genders. Then I stocked them the 300, and I can just remember only 2 died because of some mortality and stress onto the road whenever we are transporting them. And whenever of the transportation, whenever we talk about the transportation of them, it means that we never had the carrier bags or the bags relevant for pumping in oxygen, because it's just a matter of a distance. It was like some 50 meters, so as you can just reach to the fish pond. So I had to package them onto the basin or the bucket. So the only thing is after every 5 minutes you add in water so as it can neutralize the other water and add oxygen concentration. That was the meaning we used in terms of transporting them or reallocating fish from my farm to a Amaro farm. So I saw that these fish are gonna be going to multiply, and tilapia multiply very fast, regardless of what. They multiply very fast. So I saw that it was necessary for me to place there some catfish, because a catfish is called a bottom feeder. Much of its time, it's just surviving at the bottom level of the pond. So I saw it was more good about bringing them so as they can control the production rate of the tilapia fish. That's why I brought only 2. because whenever you bring more than 2, it's gonna be very big at a while, then it's gonna eat everything now at that pond. So the 2, they can control very much all the reproduction rate of the tilapia fish. Then after stocking everything, then I went back now and I saw that this fish pond, because it's called an eye impression, first eye impression. I saw that it was very best for me to stock there something that will lure people to come and see. I had my friend from Kisii town, and I talked to she was a she. I talked to her. And she told me that, okay, you want the ornamental fish? Now come to Kisii, I have them, I'll sell for you, but they are so expensive. Then I went and talked to Maro that I have got the red fish, the something like that, the colorful fish. He told me, oh, they are there, they can survive here. Then I talked about, yes. I went, then I brought them. So after there, I brought like 23 pieces. One of them was the big fish, which was the koi. And that koi, due to mortality and stress, and also talk about whenever we come with some fish, we have to do climatization. So climatization was not good for them. They never adhered to the talk about the ecosystem, never adhered to the climate. So because of how it was big, you know, the small ones survive much, but the big one cannot survive much because of where it has stayed for long. So whenever you transport it or transfer it to another, you have to leave it in that oxygen bag for like even 6 good hours, while climatized, while placed onto the water over the space you want to put them inside. Then after a period of 4 days, 5, 6, like 1 week, we found whenever I was now reallocating the fish from the second fish pond to the first fish pond, so as now they're gonna stay to the first fish pond for good, we found it has died already. And the turtle, talk about the tortoise that was in there, has ate all the intestines already. That was the problem. And let me talk about this. What now is being experienced? If those fish are dying right now, I'm gonna give out these things because it's from my brain. It will help whoever it will just help from today, and it will be much better for because it's the one of the projects that I started. And to this zone, we can talk about Korea land. There's no one who has such kind of the fish. No one. So it could be best for them to be very near, and also whoever is just going to control, because people outside here are not much learned to the ornamental fish. Much of the people know about the tilapia fish. But me, I knew much, because whenever I go from one place to another, I have to attach. I have many seminars that I'm always going, and I'm getting some knowledges outside here. So the point of Maro was talking about, I was changing water time to time. It was to increase the oxygen concentration onto the pond. So that oxygen concentration onto that pond, because of the ornamentals and also the tilapia that were subjected there, and the algae concentration that was there because of overfeeding sometimes, and maybe the food residue that maybe they have ate and they have not finished all the food that they were just placed so they can just eat. Because whenever I was not there, you can find maybe the soldier, maybe Gake, maybe somebody else. Whoever is there can just go and take some food and go and throw inside there. But those fish, they have one of the thing. Let me give you the small synopsis on what has happened and the fish died. Don't talk about water. Water is not a problem that water reduced. Water is not a problem. I give you this a recap, which is a small synopsis about what has to be done. whenever you are feeding fish, water concentration is down. Water level is down. It means that oxygen level of that water, whenever light comes, the temperature denatures that water and oxygen get away. Denatures the oxygen that is just inside that water. So the agents of the effect of temperature to water, its much oxygen level is just removed. So the much water is low and the sun is lighting on it. It means that the oxygen level is going to decrease. Whenever it decreases, it means that all the animals that are there, they have to share the oxygen remaining. The second point, whenever you have very low amount of water and you are feeding the fish, and that water, let me go with this point. Water is very low, and then you are still feeding the fish in excess. Because I don't think if there's anyone there, I left some knowledge for him on which size of food he will be just using for those fish. I don't think if anyone knows exactly. Those fish, they are like 411. And the small ones that were born, they don't eat much. They don't eat much. A handful, 3 handful are enough for them. But somebody goes there with 1 kg. It means that whenever water decreases, they start developing mortality rate. They start developing what is called stress. And also, oxygen concentration, whenever it's low, stress always comes in. So, whenever you throw some feeds, they will not be fed. They're not going to eat the feeds. You'll just see them coming up, but not picking the feeds. They will not eat the feeds. The feeds will stay there, go to a certain corner, or get rampant at the fish pond without them being eaten. Then they sink down. They decompose, they decay, producing nutrients or enriching water with the nutrients relevant for the growth of what? The algae, which is the green bloom, which always you see it under the fish pond. The green turbidity, which is always there. Now, all of those things are called algae concentration. The algae concentration starts from up. Whenever now starts from up, it just goes down a little bit. Whenever it goes down a little bit, starts to combine them together, combining together, the whole pond combined. Then it lowers to the bottom. Whenever it goes to the bottom, now it catches what's called the soil, the real soil, or it attaches itself now from the ground, now coming up. Whenever it comes up, it means that during the night session, water is minimal. Oxygen is minimal. Algae is there consuming oxygen. We have other organisms like zooplanktons, phytoplanktons, algae, fish, which are tilapia, ornamentals, turtles, catfish, both want oxygen from that same pool. So the problem was there. And also, I want to give this tip, because much of the people think that maybe ornamental, you can just go, just throw them onto the fish pond and leave them there. No. Whenever I was reducing water, guys, I'm telling you this, but no one has ever knew that, because I was not consulted. That, hey, Gintu, why are you always getting water out and getting water out? I was not asked why. They think it was maybe a content. No. I was reducing water to make sure that the minimal amount of water remaining, because the other water is coming in and accumulating. It was very best whenever you reduce water and you sprinkle salt. We have 3 types or 4. 4 or how many? Aluminium sulfate is a salt called alum. We have rock salt. We have table salt. Table salt is the sodium. So I was taking some salt, mixing in a jerrycan with water. I sprinkle around. Some people are just seeing it. Maybe I was washing the fish pond. Much of the people are thinking that. They were seeing me stepping on top of the fish pond, then turning around with the water can. They think, oh, the guy maybe is washing the fish pond. No, it's not washing the fish pond. If you take salt and dilute it in water, then you sprinkle around the fish pond, it will reduce mortality rate and it will reduce stress to the ornamental fish. And also, it will encourage that color of the fish not to go out, because sometimes they fade. So that salt maintain the color. I think you can just get this. So after I left, no one has ever done that. No one has ever used some salt. Either aluminium sulfate, either rock salt, either table salt. You can use it. This is what we call some knowledges about the fish farming. But whenever you see me maybe withdrawing water out, maybe you think maybe I'm talking about I was letting some eggs, I was letting some fingerlings out. But whenever I just want to withdraw water out or drain water out into a certain level, I used much time. I used a mosquito net, a fine mosquito net. If you can just remember, guys, a fine mosquito net that will allow water to come out minus having any kind of an egg or any fish to get out. That was a technique. And from that position now, I can just talk this. I heard about you want to pump water from the river YouTube and come to the fish pond. Yes, it will be. But this will have a similar condition that water, which is the source? Where is the source of that water? Because you can never know the river. The river has much. There are some ions, there are some iodines, much of talk about minerals. Much of the minerals, mineral salts, mineral like ions, like iodines, they are in water. And much of the river YouTube, whenever you see yellow color of water, the yellow color of water, and it's just coming in, that's much ions. So whenever you subject that water onto the fish, it will start, the fish will start getting off the talk about the scales, will start getting out from the body. Whenever it gets out, it means that now it's going to heal that place. For you to treat such kind of a fish that the scales are just getting out, it's either use alum, the salts I'm talking about, the salts. One, the importance of salt brings the mortality rate down. Contain the fish or contain the stressful of the fish. Number three, that salt, make sure that the outer color, which is the reflection of that fish, the color of the ornamental fish, it's persistent. It cannot be tampered with, because whenever we subject a fish to the normal water or the normal water outside here, it means that that fish will start developing different colors depending to the same water you subjected it into. Take a tilapia fish, put it in salt water, it will turn black, totally black. Take ornamental fish, put it in an acid water or a neutral water, it will start fading the color. So the idea of pumping water from the river YouTube to the fish pond, it's correct because water is reducing. But you should have this idea. Make sure that that water is sprinkled with salt onto the fish pond, which will reduce all, you know, sometimes whenever we talk about aluminum sulfate, it's like potassium. They are alkaline. Whenever it joins the water, which is you know, sometimes we talk about even lime. Talk about the lime. Lime neutralizes water to a middle age, which is called the fresh water. So for you using some salt, it will make sure that the fish are not interfered with. And that was the knowledge I never gave you. For the fish dying, it's oxygen, lack of using salts, overfeeding, and also we have that fish pond. Guys, I can just give you a small recap about this. A day before, I could just get out from my Amaro. I had prepared a net which is called a predator net. It's blue in color. Oh, there's some kids here. Shh, where? Where? Guys, let me say this. I have some interruptions here with some kids. They're just crying. So, guys, let me say about this thing here. The day before I could just get out from my Amaro there, I had... Guys, I was talking about the day before I could just get out from my Amaro there. I had stocked the predator net. Or I was making sure that I want to make sure that that predator net is covering the whole fish pond to make sure that the leaves that are falling from, because the trees that are there are shedding leaves like something else. They're shedding leaves daily. So I needed to make sure that I'm controlling the leaves not to fall into the same fish pond. Because those leaves, whenever you leave them one day, the second day you will find that it has developed some stinking substances and lower it down. And that leaf started sinking downwards. Meaning, whenever it goes to down area, it decomposes, it decays. What is the next? Releasing the toxic substances that will interfere with that water. So you will just be finding some fish dying, not knowing what's just happening. The leaves, much of the trees, which are maybe talk about the indigenous trees, they have toxic substances. Whenever subjected to water and they rot, they release those chemicals and toxic substances. Now it neutralizes water, whereby those kind of, it's like you getting a sickness. If you get a mosquito has bite you, you'll not suffer the same day. You'll not suffer from the second day. From the third, fourth day now, you start developing malaria, illness onto your body. It's the same to the leaves that are shedding onto the fish pond. That's why you see my fish pond doesn't have trees alongside. A fish pond should be in a clear and in an open area. So this is the things that I'll always be talking about. And I'll reframe these ones that sometimes try to know what's happening much. And also I have this secret. Because a day before, I could be taken out from my Amaro compound. I had opened some of the pipes. And I think they will be watching this video. Go check the downer pipe, the downwards. It's called a clearance pipe. very down. I left it open, taking water to the second fish pond, downwards. So you will find the second fish pond having some water. You think about, where is this water coming from? It's coming from the first fish pond. Go check that pipe, seal it. Because I had opened water to reduce, so as the following day, whenever I get there, I use salt, which is just, I make sure that I'm neutralizing the fish pond via dissolving salt into a water can, then I sprinkle around the fish pond. Then they tell me that, go away. I was not even allowed to access the fish pond. I could not give anyone that kind of a hint. So whenever we're just speaking about, and you reach this segment, make sure that the pipe that is underground is sealed properly. That's the one that is taking water outside the fish pond. And that's why you see the fish pond is drying. And today I have become so open to make sure that everything goes very clear. Because some things, you have to do them like a German. Consult before acting. Because I had dedicatively talked about, I'm going to take care of the fish. I was even about to develop the second fish pond so as I can hatch for you the ornamental fish. Which is, it's not the way, guys, I'm telling you this, ornamental fish, it's not the way tilapia fish are spawning. It's not the same as the way you can just go and select a brood stock of the tilapia fish. No. They need a different idea. Because their eggs are so sweet. Whenever they lay eggs, they're not, it's not that they're not laying eggs, they are laying eggs. But a problem is one. Their eggs are so sweet. Whenever they lay eggs, they float. Whenever they float, it means that they are in creamy-like. And they're not mouth breathers like the tilapia ones. So before it could be just be fertilized, the tilapia fish passes from somewhere, tip. Maybe the same ornamental comes from somewhere, tip. And much about the goldfish, the koi carp. And there's another one called shobonkin. Those are the real ornamental fish that need salt water. You should make sure that they have salt water. Hence, after you sealing the pipe I'm just talking about, it's just onto the second fish pond downwards. Because I was just before I could just seal it. Now I reveal what's just drying that pond. You never told me about that. You never just called me again to give me, even if we don't have a good terms, you can call and say that whenever you were here, the fish pond never dried. And it was a dry season during that time. What by now it's so drying, and what's the problem? That is the idea behind that. And make sure that you are taking precautions that I have just talked about. Because the idea, it's me, I have it. Whenever you reach there, just call me. I'll just answer any call. I just answer any call. If you cannot talk to me, tell Gake to come, ask me, call me. Tell me that where is this pipe you're talking about? Which kind of feeds at which rate of, or which portion of the feeds are you going to put into the water? And you should have a record keeping. I had it whenever I just there. I had a record keeping. So this is just coming out with a solution, so as the things will not being so hectic much outside here. And this is giving him more morale about the fish ponds there. And everything gonna be running very smart, guys. And it's a very important information that I'm just doing this video to make sure that each and everyone gets the real concept about the fish. Because I even talked about, let's have an oxygen pump. He talked about it needs a manual operating pond. What about the filters? Because those koi and the ornamentals in general, they need clear water, they need oxygen. And if you want to make sure that you want to reproduce the ornamentals, I have big orders of them outside here. Because much of the people are calling me outside here. Can I get ornamental fish? Can I get ornamental fish? How much do they cost? So where we had just reached, I had developed in a way that I wanted to start reproducing the ornamental fish, so as we can sell, as we can cater for the other fish. Exactly. So that was the big point. And sometimes don't think that maybe the fish, whenever you see it floating on top of water, it died the same day. No, 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 no. The fish can take 3 to 4 to 5 days underground before you see it coming out of or you see it on top of water. So whenever you find a fish on top of water, know that maybe there are much more of them inside. It died several days ago. So if you want to change whatever you did yesterday, it will have affected already others. Because it goes down, it sinks first before it comes up. Whenever now it's light, it comes up. And whenever it's a sunny period like right now, and the water has decreased, make sure that the feeds you are using very, very less. Very less. Because guys, even we are eating as human beings. We are using energy, chewing food, yum, 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 energy. That energy, the more you consume oxygen, as the more you consume oxygen, the more the processing, digestion, it's undertaking, because it's a process. So the more you feed them much feeds, they start running here and there. The more you know the oxygen level is being reduced. And the more you'll find them stressed or having some miscellaneous challenges. And also I have this point. If you see a fish at a certain corner, at a certain position, on its own, it has a problem. It has a problem. Whenever you see fish congested at the entrance, it's called inflow of water. Inflow, which is the inlet of water. They're highly concentrated there. It means that there is low oxygen concentration at the pond. This is just a hint of a video, but much exercises, much elaborate. You can just call me and talk to me direct. Whoever wants to get such kind of the concept about the fish farming, and we can just rate everything. Whenever trees shed some leaves, it doesn't matter that the shading of the leaves are the ripe one. No, sometimes we have the green one, like this one here. Now, if like this, whenever it falls inside the water, it's still green, it's still breathing. Whenever it's subjected to water and during the night time, it will consume oxygen, guys. It will consume oxygen. So the same leaves that are shedding, it's a problem. It's a very big problem. Now it's a rainy season. Yesterday it rained. And right now I know water is now accumulating into the pond. It's now accumulating. It will accumulate but you know that the pipes that are underground there are small, but they are always getting water out 24/7. So it will be full today, but tomorrow but one, whenever it goes dry, it doesn't rain, it will be drained. Get that point. Go seal it. And also, don't depend on the people who are just unto, I'm telling you this, guys, because I've ever done fish farming. Let me give you a small synopsis. Whenever I went for catering and accommodation course, first year, I had stocked some fish onto my fish ponds. During that time, there were 3 fish ponds. I had dug the 3rd fish pond, 2021. I was going for the 2nd year, exactly, 2021. Then I stocked some fish, then I left. I hired a person who will be taking care of my fish. And whenever I reached there, I was doing some small businesses. And I was sending money back at home to the same person to slash, because I was paying per month. And sometimes you have to send a little bit. So the guy was just staying there, and sometimes he was not there. And the same person who is there was turning into not knowing what was just there, because he cannot see that observations. The fish, oh, one fish is just playing alone. Why? And it's just not playing, it's just standing still. What's the problem with this? He cannot just analyze that. But for somebody like me, I have that idea, because whenever you are just there, like me, I was just very much good in terms of fish farming. Because for me to go and bring you my fish, the same fish, bring you the tilapia, give you a hint, bring the feeds, and also give you the hint about the catfish, what they could contain, what they could help, it will be a very better place. So for the short remarks that I'm just revealing outside, guys, I keep it wagon coming in always, so as we can groove together as a team, which is Team One-on-One Live, coming out from this position of my home. But today I'm not feeling much okay because of the flu, and it's called running water. Is it called running water, or the nose are blocking? It's called rising water, something like that. So I'm having such kind of the problem right today, and I'm trying to recover. That's why I'm getting this video from my home ground here. And I saw the videos of Ayamaro, and I was about, oh my lord, can somebody just give him a hint on what he's just doing? Because it's not that whenever I give you a hint, you have just took my brain outside from my head. It will stick here. And even if you follow the video, sometimes you can go and not, I have not talked about the the quality, the quantity of using salt. So you have to consult again, because I cannot give you the quantity, yet you asking me about, okay, you talked about the quantity is maybe 6 ml or 6 kgs or what. You have not talked about which kind of salt do you have. Is it alum? Is it rock salt? Is it a table salt? We have so many salts, guys. So, and even right now in the market, we have a table salt, which is called key salt, and we have Ken salt. They're the same. They're same table salt, but how the high concentration, the concentration gradient that's put onto those salt, it's different. How will you use them? Between Ken salt and key salt here in Kenya. So it's you to know which kind of salt do you have. Then you call. So as I cannot not receive any call, because always we want this blue economy to move. Whenever you can have the ornamental fish, there are people who outside here are thinking about, how can I get ornamental fish? How can I rear such kind of an ornamental fish? But we are misusing them onto the village. We have them already. We can stick on them, prepare them, sell them. And it's not a must that we can just use a similar pond, the way I am always using one pond for much of them, you can just separate and ornamental fish there, tilapia fish here. So as whenever you want to select a brood stock of maybe the ornamental, no, ornamental are so many guys. For the people who want to know much about the ornamental, we have a koi cup, we have a red camet, we have shobonkin, we have golden, we have silver golden, we have red golden, we have poultry, we have gulpies, we have swordtail. There are so many. I've just talked about 10. If you can just remember even 2, you are a better person to go. Exactly. So that was the meaning now. So for you to rear, how can you crossbreed between a goldfish and a koi cup? What will be coming out? A red camet. What if you take a swordtail, which is so aggressive and totally black? Take it with the gold one. It will give you something else. So we could be giving out our experimentals. We can just select a brood stock of the koi cup, of this and this and this. Then whenever they lay eggs, you know how to prepare. They are called strings that attaches the eggs, so as they cannot be re-eaten via the other fish. And how do you pull the strings from one place to a shallow water? So as, because that fish pond should have shallow and deep waters. So how will you do it? So it's you to pull. How will you pull that the strings attached with some eggs to a shallow place? So it's a matter of common sense. And you should have a very developed, and to get such kind of people to give you such kind of a knowledge outside here, it's a lot of money. A lot of money. And it's very, very hard to get a person who has studied aquaculture or such kind of a blue economy, or has done such kind of the aquaculture mostly, being employed so as you can just cater for only fish and do something, not only that is a big production. It's a very, very minimal. Very minimal. Because I had my own fish ponds, just allocated the other side, and I could just manage mine and manage his. So that was the point. Thank you very much, guys, for you listening, and keep it locked onto this position, as I'm going to give you much of the recap, and also give me in the comment section which kind of, or which part do you want me to talk about, which is bringing some chaos to the other hand. I'll just elaborate and give you the most welcoming point, and it will just, I will elaborate in a manner that it's like now I'm teaching a person in high school or a person in primary school, because you have to get these standards forms. They're there. Even the people who want to rear some catfish outside here, they are there. Catfish are there. Catfish grow in only 4 months. It's ready to be sold. But how do you manage that pond of the catfish? That's the problem. Getting the catfish is not a problem. Managing that pond, because it might be having some seepages. For you to make sure that all the seepages are blocked, so as the catfish cannot penetrate the way they did me. Because I have a lesson already. So I can give you all the recap. Whenever water goes to the brim, if you have a fish pond, water goes to the brim, it means that the catfish can get out very easily. They can just walk out. It's not like fish. So the point to take home is one. You can never take my brain. It's either we can use it to multiply. And this is what is to be accepted unto the society. And it is coming and coming. Keep it locked wherever you are. I can just even announce from people from wherever you are. USA, locked in. Thank you very much. And USA, people from Florida, Ohio, Oh, not DRC. I was about to talk about DRC Congo. No. DC, Washington, New York, and so many more countries. You know, they have around 51 countries making USA. I don't have much about them. I don't know much about them. People from Jamaica. Hey, Wagwan, Inadital, Bombo Clat. Keep it in tuned. Keep it in. Those are the people from Barbados. Welcome. People from China. Wonjing. Woo woo. Hey, people of there. Fantastic. Be in. It's called Ornamental. I don't know. Meda what? Mandarin. Something like that. Mandarin. Something like that. Mandarin. And people from talk about Germany, Indonesia. I cannot forget Africa, Uganda people, Zambia people, Niger people, and all the people representing Africa very much. People from India. And I have heard outside there talking, Como ça va? Como ça va? Hey, fantastic. People from there. Keep it tuned, keep it locked. It's underscore Gintu, back again to the roots. And this is the tips of getting out so as we can get it more fantastically. Now it's the time for me now. You know, the throat is throating, so I have to make sure that the sugarcane is eaten with an immediate effect. Hey. Fantastic. So, beautiful people, I'll be ending this video from this platform. And if you have a positive comment always to come, I know there are people who are going to get some negative. And I know there are some people who are going to talk about resurrect. We have been resurrected already. Even in Paris, you saw the introduction of Olympic. They resurrected that Jesus, the Last Supper. Everything is possible in the world, guys. And we have such kind of people who are going to vibe inside and talk about whatever they want. Because here in Kenya, guys, we have one rule. Freedom of speech. So even if you just text a comment which is not good for me, it's not bad. It's your right to write it. So everything is so fantastic coming out from this segment. And I really appreciate and say kudos to you, all of you. And respect. Rindima inside always. And this is the end. Fantastic. Bye. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. It's underscore Gintu back again. And today I'm starting this video from my home. A little bit here. And I'm a little bit getting... my throat is not well-being because the other day we went with my family to check on the... We had a burial ceremony. You know, the roads onto this area, guys, are totally maram roads, and it has not rained, so I'm getting my throat because we were sitting at the vehicle. I can just tell you the pickup one. So right now I'm just helter-skelter. My throat is throating. So everything is so fantastic, guys. From wherever you are, welcome to my channel as we are going to explore and see what is taking place and what is next. So, and to this position, let me check my chickens, how they're just ongoing. Fantastic. I hope they're big enough. And guys, it's a sunny time right now, and we have some miscellaneous challenges. Yesterday it rained cat and dogs of wind. And guys, as you can just check onto where the house of the poultry is, I had sealed everything onto this position, but I saw that I have some leaks, or the bulbs that are just inside there. I had to make sure that I'm covering it onto this position, so as the wind cannot affect much onto the chicken. So the chicken are good. You can even check. So they are somehow big enough. Fantastic. So guys, I want to make sure that I'm getting the layers where because these chicken are layers, so I want to strategize a place where now I'll be putting much of the laying boxes onto that far end, because they are so big now, and they're about to lay some eggs. Some weeks coming, they're gonna be starting laying some eggs. And also we have much of them are cocks, like these ones here, the big ones. So I want to make sure that I'm separating them, so as I can know the specific place. I can just treat them there with the use of the local feeds, which are called let's talk about the broilers, because I have the layers here, and I'm gonna be purchasing some of the cocks from outside, which are improved from one of the good farms, so as I can just put them here, so as I'll be having fertilized eggs always. And right now you can even check how they're just eating some foods here. The dogs outside here. Wow. I hope the chicken are doing well, and everything is so fantastic. Oh, I have others here. They are running. Wow.